Steve, we just met. But Steve Merritt is a former pro basketball player, and he owns 250 units, multifamily. And man, what else? You started in the financial industry? Is that how you started?
Yeah, I did. I actually started out in sales, but then I did work at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the trading pits down there for several years. And, that was really exciting. I've always been kind of a guy that goes for adventure and excitement above anything else. So, yeah, I'm excited to be here today, man.
Yeah, man, you are always all in. Guys, when I first met Steve, he was doing 17 transactions a year in 2013. Was it 2013?
Yeah, 2000, yep,
12,
2012, 2013, right around there, yep.
So that was one of his first years. The next year, when I really got to know him, he jumped to 51 transactions. I'm like, is this guy God? So guys, and then I thought, no, there's no way he could do this again. There's no way. And then he jumped to 85 transactions the next year, and he has stayed there. He didn't want to leverage too much on his team. He's still an individual agent. And today he leads us, our group of over 500 agents at EXP. So without further ado, Mr. Steve Merritt, welcome.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much. Like one of my coaches always said, I'm alive, excited, and full of energy. I'm so excited to be here with you today. John, you're a great friend. You're a mentor. You're a role model. And I would not be here, obviously, without you in many respects. So I really appreciate it.
We appreciate you, man. And, tell us a little bit more about how you got started. I know, when we first met, you were already years into business. You're a little bit older than I am. But how did you get started in all this?
It's interesting, John. When I met you back in 2012, I really had my license since 2004, but was not a full-time agent until about 2012. I got my license. Like I said, I was working in the financial services at the Mercantile Exchange. And like a lot of things, when I was in the busiest, most actively traded trading pit in the world at the time, the Euro-dollar trading pit, and it was absolute insanity. People screaming at you, fighting. It was so much fun. It was everyday excitement. And we did hear a lot of rumors that things were eventually going to go automated on the computer trading. So I got we all saw it coming, and I've always had a passion for real estate. And so I decided to get my license really to start investing in real estate more than being a real estate agent. So I started investing a little bit back then. We then, at one point overnight, the trading pits went from like 95% of the contracts traded in the pits to something like 5%. I mean, it was like a very quick, once it happened, it happened. So I got, I got my license. I started to do some investing in real estate. And I obviously we had the crash back in 2006, 2007, 2008. So it wasn't a perfect time to get in. I actually went back to school, got a degree, and did some other jobs until my first child was born in 2011. And I knew I had to start making more money.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I know how to, I've sold a few homes. I bought a few properties. I know I can make money doing that. Obviously, a lot of people have made a lot of money in real estate, but I had no clue how to do it or what to do. I'm one of those guys, I just went out and I pulled up like the top 10 agents in all the counties around here. And I said, what are these people doing? What do they have, special, or, do they know a lot of people? What's the deal here? So I started to research that. I eventually got into a coaching program. And like you said, my business went from the average income of like 50 some thousand a year up to over 500,000 GCI within less than 2 years.
That's 10x your income within
Yeah.
2 years.
Amazing how the opportunity we have as real estate agents. Yes.
That is amazing. And I was just in awe of what you were doing. And, in turn, hanging out with Steve, guys, because I was doing back then, 30, 40 transactions. And when you went to 80, then I went to 80 the next year. So hanging out with people like that will really pull you up. I wanted to talk about how you conduct your business and how you conduct life. You are a guy who I would call who's always going all in all the time. Like when you make bets, it's like, I'm all in. I don't care. I'm just going to go for it. Just burn the boats. How are you so courageous all the time in taking risks?
I think it's just a little bit of that has to do with growing up. I think, you've talked about your past, maybe like in high school, and you were picked on and, had to overcome some obstacles. I had a little bit of that going on. I was kind of an uncoordinated, clumsy, goofy kid in high school. And maybe I tried a little bit too hard to impress people at times. And, I got knocked on my butt several times. And then I did get a partial scholarship to play basketball right out of high school. And the only reason I played basketball is because I grew to be like 6'7", 6'8", like my junior year in high school. And everybody's like, do you play basketball? Do you play basketball? I heard that for like 25 years straight. So early on, I was like, I guess I better play basketball, and I did get a partial scholarship to a Division III school. And, that helped me grow up pretty quickly. Something happened there that was kind of a negative, and I was somewhat forced into changing schools in a sense. And I said, you know what? Screw it, man. I want to play basketball. I want to go to, college and play basketball. I'm going to go to a Division I school and try out. And I went in there and tried out against the best player on the team at a Division I school. And I made the team. Nice. Just on the one tryout. And I just realized, you could do whatever you want. You just have to be aggressive and go for it. Quit being a wuss. When you see an opportunity, grab it. And what's the worst that can happen? You're going to end up where you were before you took the risk, right?
Right.
Usually, so there's no reward without that risk. And I've been kind of a risk taker ever since then, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but fast forward to where we're at today, I don't look back and regret anything. I only look at my present, where I'm at, and my vision for the future. And man, everything's worked out great. I couldn't be happier. So
far, so good.
Right.
You are blessed. And it's because you've taken those risks. And, a lot of us who take risks, like you said, sometimes good, sometimes bad. How do you deal with the setbacks?
I would say the number one thing with any obstacle or any setback is something we learned in our coaching program is GOI. Just get over it. It's life, right? I mean, if everything was perfect and you didn't have any struggles, how boring would that be? There would be no motivation to do anything. And when there's an obstacle, there's always a solution for every issue. Especially nowadays, there's so many people you can reach out to for help. There's so many different avenues for that. Anything that happens, any problem you have, you can reach out to somebody or find an organization or a way to get help and get through that. And the faster you do that and the more aggressively you change course and get over it, the better the outcome always is. I mean, it's hard to do that sometimes, but once you do, the light is always on the other side.
Definitely. I mean, we get knocked down all the time, and especially in real estate. You get a client, you lose a client. You get a deal, the deal falls out. You get a happy client, the next client, chews you out, right? So I've always heard that success is going from one setback to another without losing your enthusiasm. How do you keep your mind strong through all that?
There's a lot of different things, John, that I do on a daily basis to keep my mindset strong. One of the biggest things for me is exercise on a daily basis. I notice that whenever I miss miss my workout, like if I'm on a vacation or traveling or something, it affects your mind first. The endorphins and everything that are released during an exercise can carry you for like 24 hours. And that's a huge part of it. And keeping a strong mindset is, I haven't watched the news. I haven't watched a full news program in probably 10 years. Anytime you watch the news or you focus on all the negativity that the news has out there, it's gonna hurt your mindset. There's no question about it. So I try to surround myself with positive people, positive things. I try to stay on a positive daily schedule and do the things that I know that are going to keep me mentally, physically, and emotionally on the right track every day.
Gotcha. It's a lot of mindset work, guys. And on top of everything is hang out with the right people who are positive. If you want to be positive, and don't watch the news. It's toxic. They sell toxic stuff every single day, and people just eat it up.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I do want to ask you in terms of, I went blank on that, but how your journey is right now, right? And then you join EXP. Now, what's it look like for the next 5 or let's say 10 years for yourself?
Wow. It looks better than I could have ever imagined at this point, to be honest with you. And a lot of that has to do with, us as business partners and what you've brought to the table and the people that we brought into our sphere. And, as you said, the real estate business, as we both know, has a lot of ups and downs. And the way that we run our business or have in the past is a grind. Let's just face it, there's a lot of grinding. And we've seen a lot of people ahead of us that, 4 out of 5 of the people that just grind their way all the way through end up with a heart attack or die early. And it's not always pretty. A lot, the ones that really grind as hard as we've been going, you know what I mean? So there has to be a medium there. There has to be more to life than just the grind, right? So a couple of years ago, I started setting myself up for ultimately being able to one day have a retirement, which as real estate agents, we really aren't given that, haven't been in the past, given that real opportunity to have like a retirement plan or set ourselves up for a long-term retirement unless we do it on our own.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing that through multifamily investing. And, I still love multifamily investing, but if you're involved in it in any way other than passively, to a sense, it's going to be an extra job for you. Unless you have the right people in place to manage the properties, or you're just investing your money and having someone else manage those properties and day-to-day operations, it can be just as much of a headache as dealing with clients on a daily basis all the time. So, I wanted to be in a position where I had enough cash to be able to invest passively and still have the tax write-offs, still have the cash flow coming in and the long-term capital gains and growth for my, future wealth and, pass on to my kids and have a legacy and all that. So I started doing that, 3 years ago. I had several investment properties, but I really started to jump into it a little bit heavier 3 years ago. And that's when I was actually introduced to EXP. And that's when things changed for me dramatically on the, for the better on the course that I'm on now. Not only did it, when I saw EXP, for me, it was not a risk. It was not a big decision. It was the answer and the solution for what I've been missing in my real estate business. And why do I say that? Well, gives me the opportunity as a real estate agent to continue to do my business. As I can grow my business, or, you know, I can leverage my business a little bit differently and still make the same amount of money. Not only make the same amount of money or more, I can also build wealth through some of the things that EXP offers through the business model, which is, as we know, through the stock equity shares that we earn and we get as an award for, you know, meeting certain criteria. And also through the revenue share that has just been a life changer as well. So those two things monetarily, you know, for us are just, you know, a no-brainer. If you know, we looked at it, we're like, if we're going to be real estate agents free for the next 5 years and we do anything but this, we're going to be kicking ourselves. We're going to be kicking ourselves because the opportunity is the road, and the opportunity is completely different here than it was anywhere else, you know, and it's just been a game and life changer. So for the next 5 years, man, you know, number one, I'm excited to be aligned with you and a lot of the other people that we have brought into our group, number one. And I mean that sincerely. I mean, COVID's kind of sucked, but we haven't been able to get together. But there's, you know, already we have several things planned for later this year as a group and as a company where we're getting together. It's, you know, several different locations. And man, it's just like it's just a big party. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. And the people that we're surrounded with, the influencers like, you know, Grant Cardone and Rod Cleef and, you know, Tarek, and these people that are on, you know, TV, and they're all part of it. And, you know, and all the resources that we have been able to align with through these connections, you know, are helping us in other ways to be able to leave that legacy for our families that we were looking for. And you just don't know what you don't know until you know it. And now that we're here, it's a blessing. So, you know, what it looks like boots on the ground is, you know, you and I and some other people in the group are able to basically help the other agents, support the other agents that we bring over to EXP, share our experience, knowledge, our business sense, our business models, and literally coach and mentor them on a daily basis. And there's nothing more gratifying than helping someone else and seeing them be excited about that and seeing them succeed, and knowing that you were able to help somebody do that is just priceless. So that's what I see for the future, and I want to keep doing it as long as we can.
Absolutely. Well, I'm totally aligned with you. I mean, all of this that we do, the coaching, the mentorship, I was doing it before, and now we're getting compensated, and we're utilizing the equity and the revenue share that we earn into and invest that into even more passive investments, right? So we can build a legacy for our families. And I'm curious, because life is good, Steve. You got the equity. It's probably over 7 figures, and you got the revenue share. You know, it's probably taking care of all your expenses. Most of us on this call right now would have had a great first half of the year. Either you're burnt out or you're complacent. How do you get over that?
Well, I was talking to somebody about that recently, and you know, he said to me, and this is a guy that's, you know, been in the real estate business a long time, made millions of dollars. He said, my mindset is I go to bed every night grateful, and then I wake up every morning as though I magically went broke overnight. So you know, get up with the same intensity, and it's hard to do that, but I try not to look at too much of the numbers, and I know when I do, I'm not satisfied at this point. You know, it feels like we're just at the beginning of this, and the beginning of how many agents that we're going to help and bring into the fold of things. I think there's just so many more exciting things to come that I'm not really thinking about, stepping away or slowing down. I'm thinking about, I'm really looking at it more as still building the foundation right now. So that's the mindset that I have. And you know what, John, I've been thinking about this a little bit lately too. It's like, we have these aspirations and all these goals and dreams and stuff. I'm starting to meditate and visualize and take myself to another level at this point. Like, why am I thinking about, Ferrari or whatever? Why not think like Brent Gove, let's start looking at, thinking about jets, let's take it to the next level. Look at all these other people ahead of us that have been able to do that. And look at Branson that was like in space the other day. I'm like, I don't know how old he is, but he's retired 10 times over if he wants to be, but he's not stopping. There's more adventures out there. There's more exciting things. We're just at the beginning. We're both still young and we just have so much more to give. So I just try to be as excited as possible every day and keep it going.
So it's really contribution is what I hear, because what we do, mentoring and coaching others to become successful. And really, guys, dream big. If you've already hit your goal, set another goal. Yeah. Jack, I'm talking to you. Get back to work.
No, Jack's a superstar, man.
Oh, he is a superstar without a doubt. I mean, but a lot of us, obviously had really good first half, most of us, and we're just curious. Okay, well, what now, right? What do we do, right? Dream big, guys. Dream big. Hey, Steve, you wrote a book. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, we another partner of mine and I, we wrote the Extreme Agents Blueprint. And what that is just, my journey, our blueprint of how I was able to go from $50,000 to $500,000 in a year in 2 short years. And I wanted to make it as simple as possible. I mean, it probably reads like, somebody right out of high school or something can, read it and take it and make $500,000 if they apply themselves. I try to make it, that's why we call it the blueprint. It's just, you can lay it out. It's step by step. Here's what you should do. Your mindset, all the important aspects of it are there. And it gives you a blueprint and a path to be able to take your business to the next level, whether or not, I've had agents that have been in the business 20 some years that I mentor and coach, and they've never been able to get past, $80,000 or $100,000 a year. And, if they change 1 or 2 things in their business, they're doubling their income, and that's the kind of thing that you could take bits and pieces or whatever you want out of that book and increase your business 20, 30, 50% overnight, literally. As we know, it just takes a little bit of planning, and it takes a business plan, and then it takes a daily schedule, and then the consistency in your life's going to change in every aspect.
Guys, get the book. Amazon,
yep.
Awesome.
What about your book, man?
Sorry?
What about your book? How's that going?
Oh, it's going great. I'm a bestseller. Thank you for your support.
Awesome.
Posting it on your wall and everything. It's the same with you. It's just sharing my experiences and how I got to where I was, at the 10th year mark, and what struggles did we have. So get our book, guys. Thank you.
Yes.
I did want to talk about this because we are the student of Mike Ferry.
Yep.
And we're students of Daryl Rutherford. Now, we always talk about grinding versus flow and attracting. Now, what do you subscribe to now and why? Which one?
Only John would know to ask this question, because we both can relate to this. It's kind of it's an interesting question, interesting point to bring up. I have seen the power of both. I've seen the power of the grind and the undeniable truths that grinding on a daily basis. We were taught to keep track of our numbers, and I've got my numbers for the last 5 years. I can look at just one of the 25 numbers on there and tell you exactly how many deals I did just based on the number of contacts. That's just, what I'm talking about. So that's great, and we can always do that. We can always fall back on that if we need to. But with the Daryl Rutherford spiritual side of things, the mindset and the flow, that's where things open up, and you really get to experience miracles in your life. You really get to experience things on the next level. What I talked about earlier is the visualization and meditation, and the focus is on another level at this point, because I've seen that work undeniably as well. And that if you can incorporate both of those early on in your career, and I talk about that in my book, keeping the strong mindset and having a daily schedule, which includes meditation and visualization, and just keeping your mind full of positive, positive people in your life, positive thoughts, positive reading. All those things are going to get you to a more conscious mindset, a more conscious state of being, which is going to allow you to attract the people and the things in your life that you really want. And so that's where I'm at right now. What was the question that we had there, John, that popped up?
Hi, Steve. This is from JP. I'm just starting in the business. What strategies can you advise to new agents for the first 6 months?
Great question. Very simple. If you want to just if you really just want to make it super simple, you can jump on some of our coaching calls every week, either John's or mine. And you can, I don't know about yours, John, but ours is free basically. So you can jump in there and get coaching that's equivalent to, it's high level coaching. So what would we teach you there initially as a new agent is you're going to want to write down, you're going to want to use what's called a memory jogger, which I have that on my website. You can go in there, print it out, and list anybody and everybody in your sphere of influence, past clients. If you don't have past clients, it's okay. Sphere of influence, all the people that are in your life. It just jogs your memory to be able to think about people you normally wouldn't think about that you could put into your database. And that's where you need to start, is you need to get that database into a CRM, or at least into an Excel file, and start working the database. And then find another source of leads, and then consistently set up a daily schedule and a business plan to make sure that you're carrying out the prospecting to that database and to those leads.
That's awesome. Super simple, JP. Build a database, come to the coaching calls, and you'll get what you need. For the first 6 months, that's all you got to do. It's a lead generation, it's database, right? And learn as much as you can, right? Awesome. Good stuff, JP. Well, we have 1 minute left. Steve, what would you say to us if you wanted to inspire us for the next 6 months and finish strong for 2021?
I would say forget about the fact that it's mid-year. Forget about how good or bad the last 6 months was. Just completely erase it from your memory and start from scratch. Take the rest of the day today and write out what your dreams and goals are for the next 6 months. And then write out a business plan to get to where you want to go to. And then tomorrow morning, start executing that business plan and make the last half of the year twice as good as the first half. That's it.
It's so simple, guys. Write down what you want. Tomorrow, start taking action and make it the best 6 months of your life. Steve.
And you'll have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I guarantee it.
That's right, JP. Let's go. Let's go. Steve, how can we reach you? What's the best platform to reach you on?
If you go to Instagram, Merritt Group EXP, that would be the best place to message me, Merritt Group EXP on Instagram, or just put my name in there. It'll pop up, Steve Merritt.
All right, guys, you heard it here. Steve, thank you. I'm glad you didn't give up on me to have me come work with you. And I can't, I can't wait for the next 5, 10, 20 years with you, man. Thank you very much for everything.
You're absolutely what. Nobody's happier about that than me, John. So I'm extremely excited about having you and also working with you over the next many years. And appreciate you greatly having me on this today. I'm going to head to my coaching call now. So have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Steve.